Hey traders, this is Cousin Benny coming to you on October the 16th, Sunday. After having taken a walk around our lake, there's a view outside from our deck. Took a walk with the little guy, and I tell you, what a week we had, right? And it reminds you at times that you really have to get out and enjoy what you work for when you're a trader. This is one of my reasons. I have a 5-year-old and also a 20-year-old as well, both girls. This is my little guy. Took a walk with him 2 miles around the lake. I had quite a nice day. It was glorious out, and really loving the fall weather. Just one of the things I wanted to mention also, if you heard last week, get yourself TweetDeck and use this during the trading hours. It's very beneficial. You get a lot of good news from the likes of Top Step and other traders you might follow. I have a few that I like a lot. Stock Sage is one of them. Stephen Place, GTO, of course, and a few others. But I use this during the day because a lot of times you'll see good news come up, and it's just a quick alert. It's an audible alert. You can set it up, and you can see what the news is all about. Last week we talked about, well, the last 2 weeks really, we had quite a nice trade on the ES. We started off looking at these highs that gave us our targets, and started this trade. I believe this was Tuesday, the Tuesday that Steve Jobs mentioned, or the 4S came out, the news on the 4S. Okay, Steve Jobs came out over the weekend, the news about him, but we got this pen, or this hammer candle, where we reversed off of, and this is where we started our targets. We got the 382. We targeted that on Wednesday. Thursday we redrew these again, and we were looking at the 50% and the 618 as possible areas of resistance. We got that. Okay. Then we got this spinning top, where we were watching what would happen there, and we repositioned this, looking at the possibility of a move up to the 127. Disregard those candles right there. Okay, and pretend these aren't here, okay, or this one, but we were looking at this candle right here, this spinning top, and we thought that it was likely that if we traded up through this 100% level, that we would see the 127, which was 1203. Okay, we did get that, in fact, so we had a nice trade there. The following day we were looking for a follow-through, and we got this additional spinning top. Okay, so we held our trade, and we were looking for the following day follow-through, which we got. We got a shot up through to the 1213 area, and then we backed off. We had a target up here at 1213. I believe we took that 1213 off of, we got the 1213, but we're using the previous high here to get that level. So that pivot right there was where we got the 1213. Okay, so we had this candle, or excuse me, we got the 1213 high, and like an idiot, I didn't take the SPY puts. Like I traded in the room. Actually, I took them, but I got stopped out when I got scared when we made that fast push above the 1213 area. Learjet and a few other people stayed with it, I believe. So they got this nice drop the next day. I was out of the trade, but that's fine. At least I saw that the trade worked as I thought it would. Then we got the Thursday and Friday. We got this indecision candle here, and when we got that candle, we took another fib target. Okay, took this low. Let me just redraw this. We took this low to that high. Okay, and we were thinking that there's a possibility we could get up to the 127 level again, this extension at 1241. Okay, so we redrew these pivots, okay, from this high down to this low, and we got our targets for Friday. All right, so we nearly tagged the 127 level. I mean, that's close enough for me. Okay, and what I'm looking for now is a combination of things, which I'll go over now. So as I'm walking around with my son, I'm thinking to myself and taking notes on my iPhone that what kind of market are we in currently? And my thoughts were that on the monthly, you can see very clearly we were trending. Then we had this down move down to the 20 MA. Then we, in the middle of the Bollinger Bands, we had this move up, trending, and then we moved back down. Now we're moving sideways. We're right at the 20 MA, much like we were back in 07, where we had that first leg down, then we pushed back up to the 20 before we had this leg down. Okay, I don't think this is anything near what we had in 2007, 2008, bottoming in 2009, but it's something to be aware of. The strength over the past week is given rise to thoughts on the trend that we're in and where we're going from here. I saw this post by Stock Sage during the middle of the week, last week, the week before last, on the 7th, where he had a thought: is this chart too perfect? Remember, we were trading the 60-minute chart on the S&P 500, and we noted a very similar pattern where we're up at this upper trend line. Okay, and the thoughts were that there's a very good possibility that a lot of people were going to go short here, and if we got to push up through this upper trend line, we would get a nice move. Well, that's exactly what happened. So this is the cues that Robertson points out, but that was the thought process we were in at the time on the S&P 500 60-minute. Now, the other thing I'm considering is the S&P weekly. Notice the volume at price here. This level is 1200, and how these bars are much smaller than these here, the range that we just got through. Okay, I would look for this to be a little less resistance. This is a lot of supply up here, but it's not as much as we had down in this area, where it actually turned out to be support for this move. All right, we got this hammer, and then we got the move up to the 20 period, and now we have this 50 MA just above us. Those two MAs could be some resistance tomorrow, so keep that in mind. But the further we get into this vacuum area, as one trader I follow uses a term, the easier it is for us to move up into this area, because we don't have a big, huge bar up here to act as resistance. Okay, so if we will look at the daily, you can see also on the monthly and the weekly, notice that the RSI is moving up through the 50 area, and we're already up through that area obviously on the daily. Look at this vacuum area here. Okay, and we're right above that area now, so I would look for this to be a little bit less resistance. We can always get some news that'll knock us back down, but keep an eye on that. Bollinger Bands are expanding. Typically you would look at this with a flat 200 MA as to trade the upper and the lower Bollinger Bands as a rule, but we're still a little bit higher. Okay, and we do have this action here that I just pointed out, the volume at price. So keep that in mind going into this next week. So back to the ES. This level obviously is huge. The September highs, the 127 extension from the lows on that Tuesday 2 weeks ago. So targets, I'm I'm more in a wait and see mode now. I already have some trades on. This is not an area to check to chase. So if we get a pop early in the morning, a gap up on news, or more good news, I should say, on the Euro Bank's capitalization, I'll probably take my longs off. Now, I've been watching the Euro US dollar quite a bit, and this is where we are currently. You can say we're trading at the highs. This is a 15-minute, and currently it is 2 minutes to 6. So we'll see what happens with the yes here shortly. I do note, however, the Bollinger Bands are squeezing on the 15-minute, and this 8-period moving average is underneath price. So zooming out to the daily, you can see we've been in a nice trend, and we are above the moving average and below the Bollinger Band. So we could easily run this up. This is the hourly. Let's look at the daily. Daily's got a nice trend. I'm looking at this upper trend line as a likely area of resistance. So keep that in mind. So off of that last pivot, you can see where our targets are. Okay, we're right at the 127 extension from this pivot, and the 1612 is up here at the 140 level, and we're trading through the 50 period. So Euro is showing a lot of strength. The thing I've been pointing out in the room also is the weekly, okay, which we got the we got the stochastics to turn, okay, and we got this huge candle last week. So is it possible this could move up to this upper trend line? It's possible. Stochastics is definitely has room to move higher, but it'll all depend on the news coming into the week. Interesting post that StockSage put in the room or in Twitter. Here's what's going to happen next week. And when I checked this out, it made a lot of sense. Looking at this quote at the bottom, Europe will either have to write down the debt, pay it off, or inflate it away. And the ECB will not allow it to be inflated away. They don't have any money to pay it off, so the only alternative is to write it down. Interesting. Read through the article and see what you think of it, but it could be interesting to see where we go Monday, Tuesday, given the news that's out there. Look at some of the other charts that are out there. Copper had a nice move off of this low, okay, at the beginning of October, end of September. Stochastics is starting to get up into the upper oversold area, but note we have MACD crossing down below 0, okay, which tends to tell me that there are times when this can get embedded. Okay, it's not saying that it will. It's just that I've seen this happen before, where we've had a cross down below the 0 line, and stochastics was starting to approach overbought. Okay, note the relative strength. The reason why I bring that up is because I'm trading AMX FCX since last week. Still have this trade on, and I really like what I've been seeing thus far. So, and what I was looking at was the possibility of an inverted head and shoulders. Okay, I'm also looking at this this area of volume at price. Okay, and this vacuum area here, that if we get up into this area, we could fulfill this inverted head and shoulders. We're right at the 50 MA there, and the 618 is up here as well. So taking this pivot down to this low. Alright. So looking at the spiders, considering everything we talked about, someone pointed out this as being the shopping cart pattern. I thought that was pretty humorous. An interesting take on patterns, but it does look like that, doesn't it? Interesting. But we are above this upper trend line, and on Thursday or Friday, I forget which, it was Thursday, I was pointing out how the stochastics was oversold, and it's very likely that we're going to bounce up and above this trend line. So, and that's in fact just what we did. So for the week ahead, I'll be watching the spiders for to take my trade off and possibly take a short at the 127 level. Okay, that's at 123 on the spiders. Let's keep an eye on the S&P tomorrow, the ES, and we'll see where we go from here. Well, we can see where the ES is trading currently off of that low. Let's see. That's a 15-minute. Let's go to a 30-minute. Off of this low. The 10-4 low. Oh, excuse me, the 927 low. Last Tuesday. So at the 127 level up here at 1225. It'll be interesting to see if we get through this. In closing, just keep an eye on the US dollar as well. I'm looking at these highs here, which could serve to be support down at the 76 level. So with stochastics oversold, with MACD pointing down, and relative strength pointing lower, I'm looking for this to move lower, which will be good for equities, actually. So keep an eye on that, and also currencies in general, and the euro, US dollar. Okay, euro US dollar moves higher. That's going to be good for equities. So this is Because of Vinny coming to you from Day Trading Radio. Remember, use your stops, and we'll talk to you in the room. Take care.